But Boris Johnson has sort of reached the point where some of us knew he would always end up, where he is just going blah, 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 and not saying anything substantive at all. Because the minute he says anything substantive, it falls apart. You heard on this programme yesterday that the Director General of the World Trade Organization has poured liquid manure over all of the claims by Boris Johnson and similar, ERG-style Brexiters. Rees-Mogg said we'd be able to carry on as we are for 10 years. In any other line of work, he'd be suspended, right? He'd be struck off. We'd be able to carry on as we are under WTO terms for 10 years, says Jacob Rees-Mogg. No, you won't, says the Director General of the World Trade Organization. Imagine if Rees-Mogg was a driving instructor. Yeah, you can absolutely go up that one-way street. That's absolutely fine. You could go up for 10 years. We're allowed to carry on as we are under Article 24 of GATT, which he neither understands nor properly represents. But I digress, because Johnson is the one in the spotlight. And every single thing he has said recently has been proved wrong by events. It's been proved wrong by reality. And, do you know, even if you want to point to these desperately welcome nuggets of good news, whether it was Jaguar Land Rover last week or whether it's the electric Mini that BMW will hopefully be building next year in this country, these are nuggets of good news in an otherwise unstoppable flow of bad news. Things are supposed to get better. Digby Jones, who we don't hear from much these days, swore blind that BMW bosses would march in to see Angela Merkel and demand that the European Union kowtowed to our every demand. As I say, BMW is moving its engine production, it was announced yesterday, to Germany. So Johnson is just blowing bubbles now, right? He is just blowing bubbles. Hunt, in many ways, is even stranger. Because logically, I can make sense of Boris Johnson's position. It's what Boris Johnson's position has always been. Utterly hollow, allegedly charismatic bloviations. And it works. That's the point. When other Conservatives say he's electable, he wins, he's popular, that's what they're referring to. His utterly hollow, fact-free, vaguely inspirational. He's a little bit like one of those calendars with a quote on it every day, isn't he? We need to get off the hamster wheel of doom. You don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps. That's Boris Johnson, really. He is a sort of inspirational calendar quote made flesh. And people mistake that for some sort of Churchillian gravitas. Truly, we have been brought lower than I can almost conceive of. So Johnson does his inspirational quotes and his utterly fact-free bloviations. And then Hunt sort of says it's going to be absolutely awful. People are going to lose their jobs. And I will preside over that with a heavy heart because that's what people want. And you sort of, again, this question of perspective, just stepping back from the to and fro of the quotidian, and instead focusing upon the meta, the big picture. How the hell has this happened? How have we got one man claiming that his record at the NHS, which got worse under every available measure while he was in charge of it, qualifies him for the biggest job in politics, going toe-to-toe with another man whose almost every utterance now has been rendered ridiculous? And the Conservative Party membership are going to pick the ridiculous one rather than the slightly less ridiculous one?